What's up, everybody? Sorry about that being a little bit late. Windows did a little bit of an update, and of course, nothing worked. Go figure. So I had to reconfigure all my cameras. So apologize for that. A few minutes late, but we got it all figured out. We're all up and running. Hopefully, everybody's had a good week so far. Of course, we're only into Tuesday, but you want to know something's been going fairly quick for me. At least, hopefully, it's been doing the same for you guys. Once again, thank you everybody for joining in. Hopefully, you guys have a good week for the plans for the rest of the week. Today we're going to be talking about graded cards. Now this is something that's coming from the sports community in some ways. I just saw Possum Bud's video here also just before I came on here. I was doing a little bit more research on it just to make sure that everything was in check and make sure everything makes sense. Let me move this camera just a little bit because my head keeps disappearing. So I just wanted to do a little recap because, like I said, at the beginning of this year, when I was talking about things that could be an issue in 2024, grading was definitely one of those concerns that I was having, and it just continues to snowball. Snowball is probably the best way that I can say it at this point in time. And I have a friend that's big in the sports cards. He has been big in sports cards for God, 7 years. He's been doing sport cards for a long period of time. And once again, we talk about that consumer confidence and what point are we going to have a problem with consumer confidence in grading? Now, he's in sports cards. Now, if everybody has seen, there's a video by Rattle, there's a video now by Opossum, but I've seen a couple of them now as I was searching this more. But I got this information more from talking to him when it came down to what was going on. And so basically what it comes down to is what the big controversy was, is that there was I wrote it down because I wasn't sure how to say it, but it's a Victor Wembia 101 card that was actually found, that was pulled, taken to the PSA, was graded, and when he dropped it off at the office, right in the office of him dropping it off, he said out there that he wanted to say a special thanks to Kurt's Card Care. Now, this is a very interesting product, and this is where we talk about consumer confidence when it comes down to items. A lot of the sports market is now up in arms about this particular issue. Reason being is that this is a product that is used, it is put on the gloss of sports cards to get a better sheen, remove some small imperfections, and create a better surface, which is attributed to increasing the grade of a lot of these cards. Now, there's different ways that people do these. It's not necessarily something that's going to affect Pokemon cards because it's actually suggested by the company not to use them on Pokemon cards because it's a different type of finish on Pokemon cards and can actually, if left too long, if these things are done and not in check, and if there's all these kind of problems going on, you could actually damage Pokemon cards fairly easy with this product. So once again, it's one of those big issues that we continue to see though in even sports cards. The problem is if you continue to create issues in a grading market, if each one of these companies continue to create grading issues and creating their own problems and making it to the point where we start losing consumer trust in these particular companies, how long until we start seeing that in the actual market themselves, especially now that we have sports cards really up in arms? I mean, if the guy blatantly announces it right in the front office of PSA that he thanks this particular company, which is a product, and then on the website when he gets back to 10 on his own Instagram, he puts up the card and he puts a special thanks to Kurt's Card Care. My assumption is that he used it. Now, PSA says that they couldn't find any substance on the actual cards. And once again, I don't know how they're actually figuring that out. Someone blatantly saying that they did it though, or saying thank you to this particular person or this particular company, it's to me just blatantly telling you that they used it. Overall, we continue to see issues in grading. It's something that's going to continue to be a problem. I don't see anything changing in the near future for these, and the question still will remain on the table: at what point do people lose consumer trust? When do you stop trusting these grading companies that they are actually following through with what they need? And let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys grade cards, how many more times do you think you could see major things like this occur before you just have enough? And before you just have had enough in general. Just said, I'm done. I'm done with grading. Grading cards don't mean anything any longer. Why am I paying this much for a PSA 10 when it could be altered? It could be doctored. It could be changed. It could be whatever inside of this case, and the grading company's just going, I want money. We want to sell these things for money. We just had a doctored Pokemon card where they actually sheared the bottom part of the Pokemon card off. And that went through PSA, and you can see the before and after of the exact same card. But yet, because someone sheared it, resent it, resubmitted it, and got it back, you could see it was sheared. You could tell by the corners that it was sheared. Now I got a 10. It's just continual. It's continual information that's showing this antitrust that we're starting to get and build in the grading community. There is going to become a point where that is going to break. Some people are going to eventually have enough. And when bigger people have enough, we're going to see that market start to fall. I think that it might be starting to have a little bit of effect. Do I think that there's still people buying graded cards? Yes. Once again, surface people don't care. Sometimes they're just chasing a number. Sometimes they're just chasing a brand. Sometimes they're chasing a specific card. They don't care. But typically, the bigger people with money, the people in the hobby that have money and are looking at using that money and growing a collection and spending that, are going to start getting to a point where they no longer trust what is in that case. And the question is, and once again, to the comments, let me know for you guys, as you guys are coming in and listening to this, if you're back listening to it, how many more instances is it going to take before you break? How many more major issues between CGC and PSA before you've just had enough and don't have any more trust in what you're purchasing in the plastic cases back here? That's the real question we really have to consider when we're looking at this from a consumer aspect on what's occurring right now. So it's something I wanted to start off the live with, and I've got another part that I'm going to go into, which is going to be talking about purchasing things and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, this is something with the grading system that I just, early end of 2023, I made it clear. I'm starting to back away from the grading companies. I'm starting to back away from that being a bigger part of my business. I still do it because there is some lucrative money. There is some good ways to source some cards and have some very good aspects of being able to turn around those 9s and 10s in some cases and have that good investment turnaround to have a business profitability. So it is still there. But the real question is how many more times until it starts to actually damage that reputation? Especially blatant things like this. You know, CGC taking it directly from the person who's grading it. So they know who it is, and then they give it a 10. Because it's the person out there. If it was another person, if I were to send that card in, would I get a 10? Or because Radar was there in person with this Illustrator Pikachu, did he get a 10 because he was there in person and he's Radar and they know he's a popular YouTube person. He's big in the community. Everybody knows Radar. He's a good person to be able to jump in and get those particular items to, and he's going to push that through and really give the CGC name a branding when it comes down to this. But now they get rid of the grading bias because you know that the owner itself, the owner of the company, followed that card through the grading process to be sure it got a good grade, a fairly reasonable grade. And that's a problem that also I foresee with CGC. So each one of them are now presenting more and more problems and more issues as we continue to move forward. And I don't think it's going to stop. I don't think this is going to be the last issue that we're going to see coming from either one of these companies. Beckett's still been fairly solid. I mean, I haven't heard of any major issues with them as of this point in time. If someone has, please, once again, link it in the comments. I'm always interested to go and look into it and kind of get my own feelers on what's going on in there. But from what I search and when I look at BGS, their customer service sometimes sucks is what I've kind of gotten out of it. But, you know, customer service is one thing. You know, the difficulty of getting that 10, sometimes people really do question the validity of how easy it is or how hard it is to get that particular 10 on some of these cards. But in general, you know, I don't hear anything major from Beckett at this point in time. But PSA and CGC, it's like they just alternate. They keep alternating back and forth with who's got the bigger issue right now. Is it someone cut the bottom of a card off? Is it we're professionally grading someone that we're no longer anonymously grading this card for? Is it, you know, we're going through and we're allowing substances on cards blatantly being said in our front office of PSA on a video? Or is it that we're going forward in CGC and then we're changing the grading scale again? So we don't know where we are any longer in the grading scale. What card is it? Or is it that we can open slabs fairly easily and make it look clean when we break slabs open? It's just constant. It's constantly going back and forth. And at some point, when people continue to see these issues and keep hearing about these issues, there gets to be a certain point on where that will affect the consumer confidence and the trust in these particular items, and to the point of where people are just going to go, why am I buying a graded slab because of all the controversy, all the issues, all the problems that we see in these particular slabs, when I could just buy the single, put the single in a nice top loader, and make some good magnetic cases. They do some really nice things that you could put these into, and you no longer have to necessarily worry about the objectivity of this grading company telling you that it's a 10, even though it could not be. We don't know. It could be altered, it could be modified, and now it's in the slab. It's harder to see unless it's obvious that they cut the bottom off like we've seen in those other aspects, or like the finishes on some of the sports cards now. And like I said, this is a sports card problem that came up, but that's another big part of it that is going to that's a big part of PSA and that confidence, that consumer confidence. If the sports world stops trusting PSA and stops using PSA, it's going to cause an issue for all the others, because all the other places that are buying graded cards are going to go, well, why are they no longer buying PSA cards? Why do they no longer believe in PSA cards? Or why do they no longer believe in CGC cards? Why am I buying PSA or CGC cards if they no longer believe in it? Even Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, all of them. We all watch, even though the communities are not necessarily tight-knit and completely together. When it comes down to the graded community and the people that are into graded cards, we all watch all different aspects. I mean, even myself, I watch what's going on in the sports market. I watch what's going on in Yu-Gi-Oh!, in Magic, in Dragon Ball Z. I'm constantly watching the different markets because they give you a feeler for how strong the Pokemon market is, the market that you're currently in. And it also gives you a feeler for how strong in general the whole macro economy is when it comes down to graded cards and also just TCGs and sports cards in general. So it's good to just keep an eye on it. As long as all of them are doing fairly well, there's a really good opportunity that the growth patterns could continue, and you're going to see it in your own hobby or your own industry when it comes down to that performance. So, like I said, that's the first thing I want to talk about tonight, was just a continuation from, like I said, I know Rattle did a video on it, El Possum Bud, there's another gentleman that did a video on this one particularly, but I just want to talk about more about that consumer trust issues and how many more until we actually hit that breaking point where it goes too far, where you finally push so many people in so many different directions that it's going to finally break. I mean, even CGC, I'm going to go back to Shiny Vert, banning Shiny Vert for sending in the cards he cut himself, but them grading them themselves. I mean, once again, allowing these miscut cards through when obviously you could just do it with scissors is another representation of issues that are just continually occurring in this hobby. And I don't think there's any sign of it going to stop. I think they're going to continue to happen this year. I think the problem is that a lot of the community also, and taking into consideration is that a lot of people in these communities now are becoming more economical when it comes down to how they spend, especially with PSA, with all of these things. They're becoming more economical on how they're doing it. So what they're doing is that they're starting to nitpick the fine things, and they're going to continue to find these things. I think as time moves on, as 2024 continues, it's not a rush market that it used to be. Sometimes we get an item that shoots, such as, Evolving Skies shooting almost $150 in a couple weeks. These are all things that are going to happen from time to time in spots. But I think in general, people have more time to evaluate what's going on, more time to hyperanalyze some of the problems. I think there's a lot of comparison to things going on right now and double checking yourself before you purchase things. And as that continues, that's definitely going to be something we're going to continue to see, is these things be continually picked out and looked at harder as this economy continues to go. As 2024 continues to move, as there's still money flowing in these particular hobbies, it's not just the Pokemon hobby that's seeing these issues, it's other hobbies, it's sports cards, it's all of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how long we can go before there's actually going to be a major revolution or a major issue that finally just pushes it over the edge, where people no longer have that confidence in what they're getting in that graded slab any longer. When you don't have confidence that they're grading that correctly, or you don't have confidence that that wasn't tampered with and they just let it through because someone they knew let it through, or a big name brought this card in, or it's a 101, so we really want that business. We don't want to give it a 9 and then go to CGC and try and get that perfect 10, because CGC will go ahead and give it to them because, hey, we're trying to get advertisement. This is a big card. This is a big deal, so we're going to do it for them, even though we know that they use the substance, but CGC is gonna take the hit on that one, and they don't care. they don't seem to bother them whatsoever for them doing things that are kind of erroneous at the end of the day to try and see what they can actually do. But once again, that's what I'm going to touch on that. Like I said, it's just something to continue to watch when it comes down to it. It's going to be kind of interesting to see if that's going to break in 2024, or if we're going to see that in the Pokemon investing side just continue to kind of roll forward. Maybe it'll be 2025, maybe 2026. But if there's continuing issues like this, it could be sooner than I would hope that it would happen. I would wish they would just fix the issues and improve on the systems. And, you know, if someone sits there and puts a video out of them right out in the lobby of PSA announcing that, you know, I use, you know, Kurt's Card Care. Special thanks to Kurt's Card Care for their products. You know, it's really one of them things. It's just absolutely ridiculous that PSA wouldn't have seen that in their own lobby. Someone from the lobby go back there or seen the video of it as they're getting the card, and in turn getting rid of the grade. You know, pulling it off, saying, "Well, you use a substance that's illegal." We say right in our policies that you're not allowed to use substances. You know, Shiny Vert can cut cards and get banned from CGC, but you can knowingly and willingly announce that you use a substance on the front of the cards to get better gloss and shine, and we're going to allow you to continue grading with PSA. We're not going to ban you from PSA by knowingly doing something against our policies. So, once again, just a really, really interesting layout that we're continuing to see. More and more videos are going out there and more different hobbies of issues continue with PSA. And at some point in time, it's going to come to a head. There's going to be some user fallout, and there's going to be some problems from that futuristically. It's just a matter of when, in my opinion. So, like I said, I just wanted to cover that. Next thing I want to talk about is, of course, the current Pokemon market. We're seeing a lot of good things currently, and I like these lives because I get an opportunity to really talk to you guys too, and I know you guys do some really great comments, and I'll probably get some tonight on where certain things in the market. Of course, Evolving Sky is going absolutely crazy. Like we talked about last week, it's still continuing. It's kind of paused around that 700 or so. But overall, I think that we're going to see some really good things futuristically with Evolving Skies if you are holding on to it. I'm still holding on to mine. Like I said, I don't see any retraction coming in the market, so there's no reason to be selling it. I think overall that there's some really good prospects for this to actually break 1,000 this year, which was not my my 2024 bingo card for Pokemon, but hey, it'd be great. It'd be great for the people that have been investing in it for it to do so. It's just a question of how many booster boxes and how many people have been holding on to these booster boxes as investment, and at what point they're going to break free on this and really go after everything that's happening, and how that long that's going to go before people start dumping Evolving Skies heavier into the market. You know, a lot of people are starting to judge it. I mean, even myself, I'm watching it. I don't think there's going to be a point in where we see a huge retraction. Could I see it going back down to 650, 600? Yeah, I could see it doing that as some more people start bringing it out of storage to try and capitalize on the current market. But I also do think that there's going to be a lot of people like myself just continuing to hold, because if you don't need the money, if you don't need to take in the income currently on that, and you could just leave it on your shelf and see where it goes for the next year. I mean, if it's doing this well in 2024, what will it do next year during tax season again? We might see another big shoot or a jump at that point. And maybe that's when we hit the $1,000 mark on that particular set, is next year during tax return season. That's always a piece in the back of your mind to consider, is that tax returns do really cause these jumps. We are in the midst of tax return season, which is where people really do have that expendable money to go and purchase these booster boxes that maybe they didn't have the income previously to do so. And that can cause these little or minor jumps or huge jumps on certain products just because of that fact. So it'd be really interesting to see how long it holds out, if it continues to shoot. If more product starts to show up on the shelves or on the sales sites, that's definitely going to be a factor. And overall, I think that it's going to be kind of interesting to see, can we make 1,000? I mean, can we make 1,000 this year by January 1st of 2025? Can we have it at $1,000? That's really going to be the interesting factor when it comes down to it. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is Brilliant Stars. Another one of those things I'm going to tell people right now. I think that you should be really considering looking at Brilliant Stars with this current market. I think that if you are considering and you have not purchased Brilliant Stars booster boxes yet, you should be highly considering looking at buying them on Pokemon Center. It is getting to the 2-year mark. We're past the 2-year mark of the release of Brilliant Stars. That's right about the time when we lost Fusion Strike. That's right about the time we lost Chilling Reign. So I am really thinking that you should be considering Brilliant Stars as a purchase currently from Pokemon Center if you have not done so, because it's still one of the best prices that you can get for that particular booster box if you haven't jumped on it already. And if you're waiting for that train and that opportunity, like I said, if you were waiting on the opportunity cost and you're worried that it's going to sell out on Pokemon Center, I would be very concerned that it's going to. I think we're getting to that point. I think that once it sells out on Pokemon Center, we are going to see a large jump in Brilliant Stars. And I think it's going to make Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike look small. I think it's going to jump a lot and very fast. And it could be overnight to a couple nights. We might see that jump up close to that $200 mark fairly quick. So just keep that in mind. It's something to be considering, that as an investment side, I'm just letting people know, in my opinion, we are getting to the point where you should be heavily considering that if you have not purchased it yet. If you already have your position, then you're great. You probably could have picked it up around 120 when first released, or 115 like some of us did, right down at that range at the beginning, or like 3 months after the release. But I think Brilliant Stars is really going to have some really good shoots here in the near future. That's just my opinion. I think that the stock is going to disappear off of Pokemon Center and you're not even going to realize it. So if it's something you've been waiting on, definitely another part to be looking at. Astral Radiance, not really something I'm too concerned of at this point. I think it's got a long lifespan, even on Pokemon Center. I don't think there's any real rush for it to be sold out on there. That's going to be one of them that's going to sit around like Battle Styles on Pokemon Center. It's just going to hang around just because the interest isn't as heavy on there. And then Lost Origins will probably be shortly behind that. Went closer to its release date, I think within a few, month or two of its release date, probably a month after its release date, we'll probably see Lost Origins follow suit with Brilliant Stars following this trend with the popular sets that are currently out there. So just something to be considering. If you have not, I would definitely think about that and look at that here, coming forward. Other than that, otherwise, the market's looking really strong. Different sectors. I mean, even now we're starting to see some movement in Scarlet and Violet. Some of the booster boxes in Scarlet and Violet are really starting to get some traction. Really starting to see some moving forward on like Obsidian Flame. Paldea Evolved is doing extremely well right now. Paldea Fate's really slow, but there's a ton of product out there, so that's going to take a little bit for that to get chewed through and eaten down. So once again, there's plenty of it even on the shelves at Walmart. There's plenty of product out there. 6-pack bundles are pretty heavily available also, so it's not really a rush, in my opinion, to be looking at those particular ones. And that's one of those things that I really do think that you got time on Paldea Fate. It's really nothing going on there. Scarlet and Violet base set, really slow. No rush on anything going on with that. Do I even see a reprint of base set? Probably not. I'm not seeing enough interest in Scarlet and Violet base set. But one thing also to consider is as Paldea Fate or Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flame continue to get interest. Obsidian Flame is a very playable set. You got that Charizard EX deck, which is now becoming a very popular deck, especially, we got 2.5 weeks here before rotation of the sets. And when that rotation happens, of course, then we're going to be able to see, that particular set probably blossom a little bit more than what we have now, because that Mew deck is still a very strong deck. And it's now one of those decks that is going to retire here in April 4th, which means everybody that's using a Mew deck currently is going to be scrambling all over the place. So we might see some more of these Scarlet and Violet decks, people not wanting to do major updates even next year, might be becoming more popular. So Gardevoir deck, Gardevoir EX deck, another one, very strong deck currently in the play. Charizard deck, very strong. Even Iron Hands, we're seeing the Iron Hands EX, just a regular EX card, passing $10 currently from Paradox Rift because of the playability of that particular deck as well. So an Iron Hands deck is very popular. It's growing in popularity. Gardevoir EX and the Charizard EX decks are all very competitive decks currently out there in the market. So other than that, I just want to give you a quick market update on what we're seeing. Like I said, I want to talk about the graded cards, what we're seeing currently on that. It's just crazy that we continue to see issue after issue, and not just in Pokemon, but in other areas of the hobby are definitely something to be on the watch for as we continue to move forward. Where's that breaking point when it comes down to it? So going to be really interesting to see where everything goes at the end of the day when it comes down to these particular sets, and also with PSA. But otherwise, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go to the chats. Like I said, I see a lot of familiar faces in here. Once again, thank you everybody that's joining me here on a Tuesday night. Now we're on our 9 o'clock schedule. I don't know if PK is still going or not. I know he was still running when I jumped on, but that's okay if he is. Hopefully, some people will move in after he's done if they want to. iFOMO, as always, thank you so much for joining in. Gimbo Slice, thank you so much for jumping in as well. Let's see, I'm just going to do a quick scan. Canto Green, thank you for being in here. Prano, thank you so much for being in here as well. Greatly appreciated. So it looks like we got the familiar faces in here as always. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and start with any questions we got here. So we got iFOMO. I was just talking to Rattle on his live. Even if PSA says the cards is altered, people with mischievous intents could recrack it and try to get a 10. Exactly. That particular card, though, you couldn't do it. It's a 1-1. So if it comes back, you know that it's the same card. So he can't even crack that out. You know, if they were to kick it back saying it's altered, he's done. I mean, realistically, unless he goes to another grading company, the other grading company completely ignores that fact, which all of them have a policy against using substances or altering cards. So, yeah, I mean, the one that I'm talking about particularly, once he announced that he altered it with it, and even some of the people on his Instagram that were followers of him were like, dude, why are you announcing that you did that? Because it's against the policies. And if they ban that card for or using an altering substance, he's done. You can't go with a 1-1 anyplace else unless, like I said, you know, unless someone wants to take the or say, yeah, no, it's no big deal. Like CGC, I could see doing it just because that's the way they roll anymore, it seems like. Yeah, this is no good. iFOMO, I hate to say it, but I stopped trusting the case a long time ago. Yeah, and I have too. That's exactly back in 2000. Like I said, 23, I stopped trusting the case quite a bit. I mean, it's a business opportunity, but for how long? How long until someone gets stuck with a bunch of graded cards that drop in value so fast because nobody's trusting the value of them cards any longer? It sucks when we get to that point. One thing before I go any further, I see there's about 13 people out there. Make sure you guys hit the like button also. I greatly appreciate it. It helps out the stream, gets it moving. So if I could get some people take a moment and hit that like, it'd be greatly appreciated. Gimbo PokeNE said he doesn't mess with graded stuff or singles anymore, all sealed. And that's getting to be a lot of people, I think, are feeling more confidence in sealed. Granted, sealed isn't exactly 100% safe. It can be tampered with. There are ways to tamper it, but there again, ETBs, you're fairly easy to tell if they were tampered with when you purchase them. Usually booster boxes, you can tell that they're a little weird. There's weird packaging on them. There's weird things going on with them. Once again, or they're the wrong Pokeball patterns, those kind of things. If you do a little, just 2 seconds of research on the product prior to buying it, then you could really get a feel that protect yourself on a lot of sealed. It's not still, nothing's a 100% guarantee that you're gonna not be scammed on something. And that's what really sucks is there are some very good scammers out there. There are some very good opportunities that people will miss it. Some people will buy it thinking that they're buying a good product, and it won't be good product. I'm even seeing Hidden Fates ETBs show up every once in a while on eBay that are scams, that are faked. And I don't think that the person selling them has any idea. I think they just bought them, and you could tell because they don't have the holes. A big way with ETBs, just so anybody that knows or doesn't know, I'm going to tell you on the live here because I'm sure most people do at this point, but a really good way to tell ETBs if they are tampered with or not is that the tampered ones do not have little holes. If you look at an ETB, there are little micro holes in the plastic of an ETB. So there's little itty bitty holes all over the place. So when they vacuum shrink it, the air gets out of it. So there's no air entrapment in them. It's a very thin plastic. If you get a fake one, like even the Hidden Fates ones that were going around and still are going around, they're fake. They're a thicker plastic. There's no holes, and the ends look really funky. They don't, because there's air entrapment inside of there, so it gets a little bit of a funky look to them. So let's see. Going down, we got Gimbo. I think Nat Turner has to put some order in that company. He looks like a pushover right now. I agree. You know, Nat, I really had a year ago. I really thought Nat was in a good place, especially when PK talked to him. It sounded like he was trying to make, you know, PSA this big prestigious company, really trying to make those opportunities on those particular things. And since then, it just seems like PSA's gone off the rails. It's just issue after issue after issue. And the problem is that issues are going to continue to move. As the markets become tight, you know, as people become more efficient with their money, and people are really, really hearing about issues. So as people hear about issues, they tend to start looking for issues. So these issues may continue to compound for the next year. We might find more and more and more of them that have been getting through PSA for the last few years, that people are now going back and looking at these particular cards and looking at them and saying, hey, this is wrong. This is, this has been shaved, or the corners are wrong, or something. These things could continue to come up as the year goes on, now that more and more people are looking at every single card they grade. I do. Every single card that I buy now from PSA, or from anybody from that's a PSA card or a CGC or anything, is I instantly take out my black light. I take my good lighting out, and I really go through and I verify that inside that card looks legit. Because just like that, someone shaves an edge, you look at the corners and you can see that it was shaved. If you sit there and look to get that centering right, I mean, the card looks wrong. You could sit there, and I've got a scope that I do for machining stuff that I can measure the card sizes too. And if it's way out of whack, you can tell someone shaved those cards. So not everybody has that availability to get that machine. I just have it because I was a machinist for years, and I had my own business in machining. So I kept the scope because I use it all the time. But that's one of those things that you could actually start verifying and looking over these particular cards. And I think more and more people are going to continue to find issues, and more issues are going to come out because people are now looking harder at these particular cards. So it's definitely going to be a snowball effect that I think is going to continue to kind of roll through 2024. Just working my way through. Canto Green, good day to you, sir. What is your play on the Pokemon Fall 2019 Collector's Chest sealed Armored Mewtwo? Oh, okay, sealed Armored Mewtwo with the team up and Cosmic Eclipse and more was $25 now, is $300 to $400 on Corona Hype, and was up to $1,000. So you're looking at that Armored Mewtwo. Is that Canto Green? Just let me know. That Armored Mewtwo is what I'm wondering right now, because yeah, if you're talking about the Armored Mewtwo card, just looking at the other screen because I got the other one. I'm trying to see, do I have it? I have one, and I don't know if it's. I'd have to dig it out of that bin back there. I think it's in my. So I've got one of the. I got like a dozen of them Armored Mewtwo still. But yeah, I mean, I was buying them even in the hype of things for like $15 a piece back in 2019. They were very, very common. Now they're even, I think the raw ones are going for like $50, $60 for that particular card. So, I mean, I think the Armored Mewtwo, I love the Armored Mewtwo personally. I think it's a really, really good promo. If that's the one that you're talking about, is the promo card that came in that collector's chest. So just clarify that a little bit. I guess I'm not 100% sure what you're looking for on that. FOMO, I could get normalized if they modify to... Yeah, nice. Gimbal Slice, are you surprised by how quickly Fusion Strike shot up after it went out of stock on Pokemon Center? No, I actually said that it would. I've been saying that on videos for a long time. I was even saying it before Chilling Rain went up, is that probably about 3 months before Chilling Rain went up, I actually had a video on talking about that you looked at a lot of these sets. You look at a lot of, and most of them right now, they are restricted by something. Something is restricting them. Currently, and back then it was Chilling Rain was sitting at 144. You had Fusion Strike that was sitting at like 141. You had Brilliant Stars that went up to 183 and then came back to 152. You had Lost Origins that had jumped up to 165 and dropped back down to 135. So they were all just kind of bouncing, wanting to go. You could see a lot of these sets on TCG Player were like bouncing over, coming back, bouncing over, coming back, bouncing over, coming back. And I said that about 3 months beforehand, that when these things sell out on Pokemon Center, they are going to just cruise, and they are going to go. And like I said, I don't know where Fusion Strike is today. Oh, I just saw your other chat. I should have just paid MSRP for Fusion. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know if it's over 200 consistently everywhere. But yeah, I said that like 2-3 weeks before it sold out. I think on a live, someone went and bought a case of them as well. I mean, it's just one of those things that you could see there was a restriction point. And some people say that the markets don't matter, that they all work differently from each other independently. And that's true to a point. But there's always you can only get so far above the lowest point before people realize it and go back. I mean, if there's a constant supply coming in, so like Brilliant Stars went up to 183 at one point, even though it was still available on Pokemon Center, and we were all just like, why is it doing that? You could literally go to Pokemon Center, buy it, bring it home, and sell it on TCG Player and still make 10% by doing nothing, but just rotating it around. And it caught itself. I mean, it came back down, and I think that we're getting close to fusion. That Brilliant Stars is going to do the exact same thing. Once again, I'm not surprised at all that it did that. I actually really expected that before even Chilling Reign did it. I was pretty confident that was something that was going to happen because there was a restriction point, and when that restriction point sells out, that's going to be the opening the floodgates when it comes down to that secondary market, because then the secondary market has full control of the pricing of these booster boxes. As long as there is an MSRP point, there's really a control point at that point, but once that's gone, it's a free-for-all. How much of Chilling Reign's fault is future check? I guess I don't know what you mean by that. Just jump to the bottom. Hold on. I hate that it does that. It shoots to the bottom when I rotate sometimes. Lost Origins sold out in UK Pokemon Center. Sold out on all online stores. Distro seems empty. eBay low was 120 was 120. Next week 140. Now lowest is 190 200 British pounds. Yeah, and that's where we could see, like on TCG Player in the United States. This is where they were, like, Brilliant Stars had a really good bump, and I heard that was because at that point Britain was completely sold out of Brilliant Stars. They hadn't gotten their restock that they were supposed to get. So Brilliant Stars jumped up on the U.S. market because TCG Player, some people will ship internationally. So the ones that would ship internationally were having increased sales and were selling at that 183, which kind of almost falsified the English market because we did have supply and there was still quite a bit of supply out there. But the booster box raised because, you know, Britain was out of actual booster boxes, so they were buying internationally. Then they got their stock, and we saw it drop here. So I'm willing to bet that was probably part of it, not all of it, because Brilliant Stars has always done about 10 to 13%, which is, of course, pretty reasonable when it comes down to it. So it should probably be that way if someone's buying it at, you know, Pokemon Center and selling it. It's going to be probably going to be about 15% higher just because people are trying to make a little money, 2%, 3% for doing nothing. Let's see, where are we at? TikTok had last 8 cheap boxes available anywhere in the UK, and I just bought them up. Yeah, it's the way to go. Get them deals while you can on TikTok. Lost Origins was 120 2 months ago in the US, and now it's 150s. Yep. Pokemon Center still has them for 144, so, and free shipping. So yeah, you're about 150, regardless of where you get it. Someone paid $250. Wow, $250 for a Lost Origins box. Yeah, your prices are going up crazy fast. Let's see. PK has hyped up Brilliant Stars booster boxes earlier. I kind of caught part of his because I was kind of setting up my stuff here and working on my video for this week. And I kind of heard that he was talking about them, but he's always loved Brilliant Stars. I honestly, I get it. I mean, it's a Charizard set. I mean, he's really set on Brilliant Stars. He thinks it's the best set. You know, he even when it came out, he said it was going to be better than Evolving Skies at one point. And that's fine. I mean, if he loves it, that's great. I think it's going to be a really great set. I think overall, value-wise, it's going to be a very strong set. And I think when it sells out on Pokemon Center, it's going to go really fast. I also think Lost Origins is going to do the exact same thing. I think Lost Origins has just as much potential as Brilliant Stars. And do I think that either one of them sets is going to be as high as Evolving Skies? I don't think so. I don't think either one of them are going to be quite as good as Evolving Skies ever. I think Evolving Skies is always going to hold that mantle out of Sword and Shield unless people really fall into Charizards again. But what I'm seeing is a lot of people, there's a lot of crying right now. People want an evolution set again. So, you know, there seems to be a big fan change right now going towards Eevee and evolution. So Charizard may be sharing that top spot, which means if that's the case, Brilliant Stars may not get the opportunity to really catch up to Evolving Skies like some people are really hoping or thinking it could do with it being a Charizard set. So time will tell for sure. I do know that, you know, PK loves Brilliant Stars, and that's fine. I like Brilliant Stars. I think it's a very strong set. I think Lost Origins is just as strong, personally. And I think that Evolving Skies, and I've loved Evolving Skies since it was released. So I've always thought Evolving Skies has been the strongest set so far in, the Pokemon TCG this year, or in the Sword and Shield era. Prano, all TCG sets will be overheard or unheard of gains way above Fusion Strike. Yeah, exactly. All the Trainer Gallery sets are just going to be crazy. They are going to be absolutely nuts when they release. Astral Radiance, it's very weak. Very, very weak set when it comes down to Trainer Gallery sets. It doesn't have a good Trainer Gallery. Doesn't have a strong actual set. I don't know. I do know that Brilliant Stars and Lost Origins, no question. Brilliant Stars sells out. I could see that box going well over 200, like wicked quick. Your head's going to spin how fast that's going to go past 200. When we saw, Fusion Strike at $200 right now, it's going to be crazy how fast Brilliant Stars is going to put that up. Now, I do like some of the Dialga and the Palkia, of course, have a special place, but still, overall, it's just not as strong. Garantina is a much stronger Pokemon character. Arceus is a lot stronger character, and so is Charizard and Brilliant Stars. Those two sets are going to be really, really hard to compete with. Even Lugia has a little bit stronger. The Lugia Chase is a little bit stronger than the Origin form Palkia and Dialga. That's just my opinion. I'm giving you my opinion here. That maybe someone else might have the reversed opinion on that, but that's absolutely fine. You can all have our opinions when it comes down to these sets. I mean, everybody's going to place their bets where they want it to go, and that's exactly how we're going to run it. Let's see. Kanto, do you think 3-pack blisters of Evolving Skies better investment in the long-term investment play? If you can get them at a fairly good price, I think that they'll do all right. 3-pack blisters historically have done fairly well for the price range that you're looking at purchasing at. You can go back and look at a lot of the, Sun and Moon versions of them and that are out there. They're all doing extremely well for their age and everything else. So I could see them doing fairly decent. Is it going to do as strong as a booster box or potentially the ETBs? I don't think they're going to do quite as strong as that. But for a really low end jump in to get into Evolving Skies still, to jump in on the 3-pack blisters, definitely some opportunity. I think in general, the pack pricing is going to go up enough to draw those up, and any sealed product, as it disappears off the market, becomes a little bit stronger over time. Gimbo, I can't wait for Lost Origins to sell out. Yeah, that set's going to go absolutely nuts when it does, for sure. And I shot to the bottom. Let me get back here. You guys are going faster than I am by far. Yeah, you're talking that. Yeah, you guys are just talking. I'm skipping over your talking points. Fine. I move Japanese. We adapt. Yeah. Move over to Japanese again. Japanese booster boxes are dumping quick. And for promos. Yeah, it's crazy how fast the pricing on these things has gone up. I just hit 32% on Collector, and I started a few months ago. And that's with some PC ETBs. Yep. Yeah, One Piece. Let's skip One Piece. Let's see. Yep. Talking One Piece. Going on. Okay. Nope, that's One Piece again. I'll catch up to you guys. Yeah, I like the AR Dialga. They announced the reprint of some sets. Must be One Piece still. Okay. So it looks like we're catching up to some of the one things. Wow, I can get Japanese 151 for $35 a box, and Yupu's now with a coupon. Seems pretty solid. Yeah. I actually just got a coupon too, and I actually just picked up 4 boxes for $135. So 130, what was it, with tax, $136. So overall, really, really happy to be picking up the Japanese 151. Seems like a lot of Japanese sets are really starting to slump quite a bit. So it's definitely one of those things that definitely is going to be one of those things that's going to be a drag. I think with the overall Japanese market starting to slump a little bit, just like we saw a year ago with Sword and Shield and even English boxes. We saw a slump here for a little bit, really slow, nothing really moving, and now all of a sudden, like you said, it's reciprocating. So now if you're looking at a buyer's market, now might be the time to switch to Japanese. If you're into the Japanese market, now might be a time to go there and take advantage of that. And then when that goes up, English will drop. So it seems like they kind of go back and forth, back and forth. So it'd be really interesting to see if that reciprocating cycle continues to move up. Hold on. Let's see. iPhone line this one up here. He says, Andy, what is up with the Giovanni from Rebels Clash? It's probably the best card from it. It was playable, so it's a playable card in the Pokemon TCG. So a lot of people right now are going back for like nostalgic right now. So they're really trying to find those like that, a nostalgic card such as that to get into it. Let me look it up real quick because that's how I knew it was kind of sitting pretty flat. I mean, I talked about it a couple of years ago, but I haven't really followed it really all that much. But I wonder if another one of those is another one of the, what do I want to say? One of those cards that now there's a new one in Pokemon 151 that's going to have coming up here after rotation. That card is going to become fairly playable, which is going to really make some value. So people are starting to look at that card. And I think people, once again, are falling into a lot of these older EX and older cards with the same names. You Google it or you TCG player it, and not just that one comes up, but another Giovanni card comes up, and it's a full art. It looks really cool, so it has that draw to it. And so right now, Giovanni's Charisma is a really popular card currently. I'm just looking to see here where we at on that Giovanni card. So, Giovanni's Charisma, full art. What's this one? No, that's the... Yeah, that's the one from XY. Where is the one from Rebels Clash? I know there's one out there for Rebels Clash. Where'd it go? That's Hidden Fates. I am confused. Man, I'm not going to spend a ton of time looking for it right now. Let's see. Everybody knows. Here in the UK, Astro and Silver are same price, and apparently UK had a small reprint for Astro where US apparently didn't. Some say you did, but I'm not sure. They're both 105 here. So right now, both of those sets are running at about 125 and 130. They both got an ETB reprint. We did not get booster box. We got a booster box reprint of Silver Tempest. We got a booster box reprint of Lost Origins, and we got a ETB reprint of Astral Radiance. We did not get a booster box reprint of Astral Radiance here in the United States. So in the U.S. market, Astral Radiance did not get a booster box reprint. Their booster boxes, if you look at our graphs here in the United States, they didn't drop, while Lost Origins and Astral Radiance both dropped again, down to that 120, 115, 120 range. So you could have grabbed a bunch of them at that point. Oh, that's right. It's Boss's orders. He tricked me. That's right. It's Boss's orders in Rebels Clash. So, hey, there it is. That makes more sense. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Son of a Merc, for letting me putting that out there. But yeah, overall, once again, I think a lot of people are just kind of hunting around more and more. And I think it's just another example. You put in Giovanni, people Google that, this card comes up, then they go look at this card, and then they get interested in this card. And it's one of those things that just keep moving up, just keep changing. And I think it's going to. Because this card went from, right around. So in the last 3 months, this card was at $34.50. It's already up to $41, which doesn't seem like a huge number, but actually, percentage-wise, that's really, really good. And if you look, it's kind of bounced. It's coming back up to its all-time high in the last year. So a lot of these things, like I said, in the Pokemon, we saw kind of a slump here in the market in general for the last 3 months. Or the previous 3 months. Now, this 3 months, we've seen another increase of it. So, yeah, I think all these old full arts are going to do really well, and we're going to continue to see them kind of rotate in as people keep moving. All right, now where are we at? Caught up. Sorry, Lugia is extremely liquid. Yeah, Lugia is extremely liquid. I exclusively grade that card, and boy, it's liquid. Yeah, the Boss's Order sells really well. I'm sure that Giovanni always sells well. He's a really big character in the Pokemon TCG, so yeah, it's really good. The Lugia card too, if you're talking about For grading, yeah, if you can get 10s on that Lugia too, even the boss's orders. I've actually graded that boss's orders quite a few times, and I've had a really good success selling those. A lot of the full art trainers, though, they're pretty liquid if you can get a really good grade on those particular cards. Lugia, yeah, the Lugia sells really, really fast. Every time I've graded a 10 on that card, it disappears out of my eBay almost immediately. It's up for less than 24 hours, and it's gone. Even 9, it sells really fast. So even an 8 or 10 or a 9, you can sell that Lugia really, really quick. Silver Tempest Trainer Gallery isn't awful. It's not awful. No, it's stronger than Astral Radiance. But it's not as strong as Lost Origins and Brilliant for sure. So I think it's got a really decent. It's decent, but it doesn't have like the Lost Origins has the, Gengar. It has the Charizard and Leon. It has the Pikachu's all inside of that one. Lost Origins Trainer Gallery is pretty goated when it comes down to it. Silver Tempest is not bad. It has some really good cards in there as well. So let me see. So I'm trying to remember which ones are all in the Silver Tempest. So Silver Tempest, I'm just looking through what I got. You got that Blaziken V. That's a really decent one inside of there. Just looking through. You got the Zeraora V. You've got the Dialga. So you got a lot of nice ones. The Flaffy, the Brexen is in there. Jinx is really cool. The Gardevoir card I really do like on that one. So that was one of my favorite ones, even though it's just a regular one. So there's some really decent ones inside of there. But Lost Origins, even it's got that Glade V. That's a really sweet card. I'm just pulling open I got my binder with all my cards inside of it. So Astral Radiance, I mean, it's got the Calyrexes and Astral Radiance, so that's not too bad when it comes down to that. Got the Zacian and the Zamazenta inside of there, so I mean, they all have their perks when it comes down to their overall performance, but even the one I always like from the the Gardevoir's really nice iPhone. I really do like that card. We go down now to the Brilliant Stars one. I mean, you got all the evolutions inside of here, so you've got the Flareon, Vaporeon, and Jolteon inside of here. You've got we can go through and you can look. We've got the Sylveon card inside of here. You got the Sylveon VMAX. The 2 Mimikyu cards, really popular. Your Shifu artwork's pretty decent in here. You got Eevee. I mean, there's some really decent cards in here, too. You got the Umbreon VMAX, the V and the VMAX inside of there. I'm missing the V. So, once again, that's why you got a lot of evolutions in the Brilliant Stars one, which gives it that, availability to be a little bit better, too. So overall, I think that's why those two are pretty strong. The Lost Origins got a really strong one with the Pikachus. You got the Leon and Charizard artwork inside of there. There's a lot of strong cards inside of there. That Gardevoir inside of there as well, or the Glade as well. So let's see. Going back, I'm just gonna make sure I didn't miss anything. Silver Tempest Trainer isn't awful yet. Blaziken has better art, and yep. I agree. I like the Blaziken art inside of the trainer gallery there for Silver Tempest. Bossaurus, thank you for that. Gimbo, I don't really get the Japanese market downturn with crypto, Sword and Shield pumping. I don't. It's really hard to really keep track of why things do what they're doing. That's just the interesting thing when it comes down to it. It just seems like people, what happens is that the Japanese market, so it used to just be English and Japanese were kind of separated and nothing really affected each other. But it really seems with what's happening now, and if you look at when the Japanese market took off and really did extremely well, is at the beginning of Scarlet and Violet, and then now Scarlet and Violet there is, and all the sets in the English version kind of just slumped a little bit last year. They didn't really do a lot. There wasn't like that crazy performance. There wasn't a set that just accelerated and blew up. Even, Evolving Skies kind of flatlined there for most of the year. Everything kind of just stopped in a lot of the modern stuff in English. But when the English side started to pick up again, the Japanese side started to fall. So it's like they're almost affecting each other in the opposite ways. And I think what's happening is we do have a lot of investors in there, and we do have a lot of people in that particular markets and that are playing both. And I think what happens is the pricing gets low in Japanese, so they all start buying Japanese, which then drives the price up in Japanese. But that means they're not putting their money into English, so the English starts to drop. And you're almost playing this back and forth game now where, people are just bouncing back and forth for where they're spending their money. And they're going for the best value when it comes down to these booster boxes and sealed product and investments on what's going on. That's just my opinion. I don't know how accurate it is. Like I said, it just seems like when one market goes, the other one slumps. Except for during 2021, then they both went crazy. But even 2019, the Japanese market was very small and wasn't really talked about much. When it went crazy in 2021, the English market really shot. The Japanese market started to follow. Then the Japanese market kind of kept going. The English market slumped at the end of 2021. Then the English market took off. The Japanese market slumped a little bit, and then it just keeps switching back and forth. So it just tells me there's a lot of people with money just kind of flipping between the two and really taking advantages of each one of those markets. So it's definitely something that might be considered in that particular, why this is particularly happening again. You might see it switch again. Maybe Japanese prices will drop far enough where there's a lot more interest in it, so everybody's going to switch gears and go back to Japanese because the pricing's so low. And what we'll see is the English market slow down because people aren't spending money in the English market. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on. I'm hyped for Mega Evolutions. I am and I'm not. I think it's too soon for Megas to come back. I think it's a cool concept, but I would have rather seen something like the Gold Star idea or something like that come back before Megas. But that's just me. Megas are cool. It's cool to see the rarity come back, another rarity coming into the hobby. This is pretty, typical, the new rarity coming in, so it'll be interesting to see how that performs. But, Megas. So what that tells me, though, is that you need to be watching the XY era Megas right now because they might see some price increasing. Just because if they are coming back, people are going to start searching Mega Charizard. They're going to start chasing or looking at Mega whatever's coming out. And it may lead them down the road to those other ones. Let's see. Crown Zenith to the moon. Eventually, I'm just saying everyone will be willing to buy just to open for the forgiving hit rate. Yeah. And Crown Zenith is nice for that. You do have a really, really nice hit rate. So, yeah, definitely a good opportunity there. I think Crown Zenith is going to be a really strong set. It's a fun set to open. Really fun. You get decent hit rates. You can get a lot of really nice artwork out of there. And there's some really good potential in that set. And I do like Crown Zenith. I just think there's a lot of it flooded out there right now. And there's a lot of people going all different directions right now. The Crown Zenith, once again, it's just not being seen as strong as some people are wanting it to be currently in this market. Crown Zenith could use a better chase. I will say that. The chases are very hard or very easy to pull in general, except for that Mew. That Mewtwo is a decent chase. I do enjoy that one. That gold Tina in there is definitely another one that's a decent chase. But other than those two, most of them are fairly easy to pull. Those are the only two I have not pulled yet myself now. So, it is what it is. I haven't pulled those in any of the Crown Zenith cards yet. So, trying to feel like it's got multiple chase routes. It does. I mean, it's got chases for a lot of people. It's just, there's two main chases. You got the Mewtwo, fighting the reverse scene from the promo for the Charizard UPC, which was kind of a cool little mix there to give you both views of that particular battle. So that was kind of neat. And then that gold Tina. The gold cards in general are really nice. I think that there's a really good layout when it comes down to those, when you actually lay them out. And now they're making some really nice frames where you could put them inside the frame and actually get the full picture and layout of them, which was really cool that they did that. And that people are actually using art concepts and building those things, because those are all new things that we never had in the past. So it's really cool to see the development of the Pokemon TCG and how they're adapting and changing. Pinterest, all these people out there that are into making acrylic and making art and doing these kind of things are using some of these Pokemon cards. So when you pull them, you can fit them into the murals and really build those things that we never had that opportunity before, which is really cool. Let's see. Just trying to get caught up. Let's see. iFOMO. The only thing low pop in Crown Zenith is the Tarius Illustrator Rare and the Soul Rock IR. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I know that got graded really, really heavy. So if you're looking for the graded play in Crown Zenith, it's pretty much burned up. there is a large population on all those cards, and that was one of those sets. Everybody was pulling things really well. Even I graded some right off the bat. I got like the Zamazenta, the Zacian, the couple of the Radiant Charizards. I mean, I did a couple of the gold cards because I pulled some duplicates on those. So, I mean, I graded a bunch of them too, just because, and they graded really easy. I think every one of them got a 10 back. So it was a great easy set on top of it. So that really does make it a lot easier to do that and get those grades. And people are more comfortable grading it because of how the actual gradability of it is. It's a great easy set from my experience on Crown Zenith. Son of a Merc, gold cards, corresponding Mewtwo, legendary beasts, a few evolutions. Yeah, there's a couple evolutions in it. Legendary beasts, like I said, Zamazenta, Zacian are really, really nice touches. I do like the artwork of those particular cards. They're really, really strong artwork on those particular cards, which is really good to see and really nice to see on that particular set. Like I said, I did like the artwork of the Galarian Gallery. They had a very nice Galarian Gallery, but the pull rates were fairly easy on most of them. I mean, realistically, it didn't take much in many ETBs to pull a lot of those cards. Even the golds were fairly easy. The Tina is the one that I still haven't pulled out of the golds. And then you got the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo is the only other one I have not pulled myself. But otherwise, I've pulled everything out of that set. So, and a lot of doubles on it. So, yeah, I mean, the pull rates are fun. It makes it a fun set to open. It makes it exciting to open. But on the other hand, it also can kind of restrict how much people want to buy it. Because if you're looking for something to get value out of what you're opening, Crown Zenith doesn't quite have that value yet. Now, certain cards, I mean, another one I even had in a video recently was the Bidoof. The Bidoof is an interesting one. That full art Bidoof is actually going up in value rather quickly, and it's doubling in value, it seems like, quite often, just because of the fact that it's a playable card. And people like, I've seen decks now with Bidoof, they're putting that card into their deck just because it's a reasonable card. It looks good, it's flashy, and it's a really nice accent to a deck. So that's another thing we could be looking at for some of the Crown Zenith. Some of the cards that'll still carry over from Sword and Shield this next year, people might be putting those particular cards in their deck, like the Bribble. The Bribble price is going up, or Bearable is going up as well. And then, of course, the Bidoof, because it's a playable card. It's used on a lot of decks, and with that being used like that, it's actually that full art, Galarian Gallery card's really cool as an accent piece. So if you are playing, you're seeing them in decks quite a bit now too. Son of a Merc. Anybody hear any news on the Stellar type rarity? Stellar type? No, I did not hear about a Stellar type rarity. What is that? Stellar type rarity in Poke. I can Google it real quick and see what comes up. Stellar type rarity. So Stellar is a super. They keep their base type defensive properties. Huh. Oh, that's the new. So that's a new terrestrialized. Okay. When a Pokemon is terrestrialized into Stellar type, they keep their base type or defensive properties. Meanwhile, they have no weaknesses or immunities. Huh. So that's like the next step. So someone had said there's going to be another type of terrestrializing inside of the Pokemon TCG, and that must be what they meant by that. So I have not personally seen that in gameplay yet. And I don't know. Also, it looks like Goldingo, and I'll have to look. They showed a Tyranitar. Well, I didn't realize it was in Paradox Rift. Let me see. Hold on. I pulled another binder. You guys are making me pull binders tonight. Let's see. Do I have any through? Here we go. So, yeah, Obsidian Flame. No, that one got the weaknesses. Goldingo. Yeah. I'm just looking for a newer terrestrialized and see what they're doing here. Give me a minute. Oop. Sorry. Try not to beat the mic. So yeah, that's Charizard. Here we go. Terra. So we got a Terra type. it doesn't show the Garchomp. I don't know why they show it as one of them. I don't see that feature on there, so I guess I'm not 100% sure what that rarity is, because I got the Hoopa EX, I got the Garchomp EX, Terra, and they're both Terras. The Charizard Terra, that just switched weaknesses. That's one thing I do like about mine, because I run a Charizard deck currently, and that's the one thing I do like about the Charizard deck is it changes type. So it goes from a fire type to a dark type. So when someone's putting up a defense, they're building up a water deck to try and beat you. If you can build up that Charizard on your deck, they think they have you, and then they switch you in, and it ends up being a dark type, so they don't get the double hit bonus. So you got to have a grass type in order to actually hurt the Charizard EX, which is weird considering it's a fire type, but because it goes dark, a grass energy is what fights it. So I don't know, maybe that's what the Terrasol. I guess I'm not 100% sure. But I knew someone had said that there was a new terrasolizing that actually was considered, they were calling it something else. The terrasolizing stage 2 is what I heard it called before. So I'm wondering if that's on the game though. I'm looking here and that's saying a lot on, this is saying a lot of that's on the actual, on the game, the actual like Scarlet and Violet game, not on the playing cards. So I guess I'm a little bit concerned. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So I haven't seen it. I haven't, like I said, the only thing I know that's similar to what they're saying here would be that Charizard, like the Mewtwo changes type. It goes from a psychic, so it uses psychic energies, but it becomes an electric type on the terrasolizing. So if you go from a Mewtwo to a Mewtwo EX, it gets a electric type and changes its, so the opponent has to remember that or base itself on that attack and have to change it. So my son uses the Mewtwo inside of his Gardevoir deck because it's a basic Pokemon, so he can put that out there, but it's an electric type, it's not a psychic type, even though it uses psychic energy. So it's a really interesting layout for that. I'm going to take Craig, thank you so much. Oh, Ivan, sorry, I missed Ivan. Thank you so much for making it to a live. Glad to see you here. Thank you so much. Also, thank you for being a member of the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Once again, guys, just going to remind you that we, if you are interested, we do have the memberships are open to anybody that wants to support the channel. It's just greatly appreciated. If we get 10, I was going to do a giveaway on the backside too, just to thank everybody that's there. Northwoods, do you open any hockey cards? Connor Bedard, Young Guns, Blackhawk rookie is selling for $1K. It is 23-24 Upper Deck Series 2 hobby box sealed, will be worth $5K in a few years. $200 now. No, I have never personally opened that myself. I'm not into hockey. I've never really opened hockey. I've done football. I've done baseball in my younger years. I've done basketball somewhat, and basketball wasn't even really my big thing. I did a lot of baseball, football. Those were basically the two sports that I opened back in the 90s quite a bit, so that's what I collected a lot of. I got a whole box I got to go through and see if there's any value in it. I don't even know. My mom found it in the closet a couple weeks ago when she was cleaning, and I just haven't had time to go through it. There's probably Pokemon cards in there too, because I had Pokemon cards stuffed everywhere when I was a kid. Shiny Rayquaza, thank you so much for joining, and also thank you, Craig, for joining once again. Also, thank you very much. Shiny Rayquaza, yeah, Stellar is another type of Terra. It's in the 2 on, I'd assume the next set after the set in May should feature. So that's maybe it. So that's in the game currently. And yeah, that one will show up. Maybe it'll show up in the new games. Because yeah, I'm not seeing it at anything like that right now currently in the Pokemon TCG. Yes, it's the Armored Mewtwo. Yeah, on the collector's tins. Okay, very hard to get a PSA 10. And that's where I was looking at too. I still have about probably 15, 20 of them. I bought them. So when I bought those cards from the promos, I bought them in a big group. So I bought them in like groups for like $10 or $15 a piece. And you bought, the person was selling like 100 of them at a time. So I had like 100 of them at one point. And through Boom, they were up at like $70 at one point, $75. So I was selling them all through like 2021. and I've kept back, I would say it's probably 20 of them I still have back. Some of the best ones that I was considering grading, so maybe maybe I need to really look through those again and see if there's any gradable ones that I think would get a 10, because I've been thinking about it and I just haven't really gone through going back to those. I haven't gone back to them to really look at them. So Craig, just an idea for you to flip to secure another Pokemon set position in a few years. In comparison, a sealed box of Upper Deck 15-16. Connor McDavid is currently selling for $8,000 right now. Wow, that is crazy. I'll have to look, because I know even here, Walmart, people don't buy that kind of stuff, and they sit on our Walmart shelves for a long period of time. So I'll have to look, because they do have a lot of those. I don't know if it's $200, but I'll have to look and see. What is that MSRP, Craig? Just out of curiosity, because Walmart carries, they got some collector's boxes right now that are like $100 right now on the shelf, and they're just sitting there. Kanto Green, do you have 3-pack blisters of Evolving Skies available for sale? I do not. I keep a set of every one of the 3-pack blisters, but I only have a set. I didn't really, for Evolving Skies, I went after booster boxes and I went after ETBs, but I didn't really go hard at the blisters. I just keep one set of every one of them things. It's just me being a collector at that point. I just buy two, each set usually gets 2 different promos, so I buy one set of each. So I've got one set of each 3-pack blisters through, since all the way back through when I came back in, so I got one of Team Up, one of Unbroken Bonds, all the way through until today. So I've got a set of each one of the 3-pack blisters going all the way back to Team Up. But that's just me collecting. I like having them. It's just my little personal collection. Son of a Merc. So I'm going to go to Son of a Merc, and then I'm going to have to call it a night. I hear my wife is done with her meeting. So as for always, we'll be back on Tuesday. Also, videos are going to be a little bit, I'm going to try and make them like Thursday or Friday for releases now. I'm going to go down to 1 a week, but I'm really trying to make the videos better quality rather than, it always seems like I'm under the gun. I'm always trying to get them done. I want to get in the process of making a really good video, and then what I'm going to try and do is work ahead. So they're a little bit more longevity, but really, really good information. My goal is to try and make some really well edited, well put together, a little bit more funny, because I like having fun, and I've always been kind of serious on this channel. That's just me, my personal experience in life is that when I'm doing presentations, and I've always treated this as almost like a presentation, and I always put my game face on, and I try and get real serious, and I try and give all the information, and I try and be factually based, and I can still do that, but I want to lighten up. I want to have a little bit more fun. I want to be able to throw in them little quips inside of videos that I've always wanted to do, and I want to spend some time doing a little bit more editing on videos and making them better quality, better information, and probably a little bit longer. So like my Friday's video looks like it's going to be about 20 minutes long. I think it's like 22 minutes long. It's a little bit longer, but it's really breaking down the information with putting in little clips and things like that, little pieces of information that help out, and really taking the time to edit those things. So that's really something that I'm going to be working for futuristically right now. And if I get far enough ahead, I'll go back to 2 a week. But right now, I'm just going to try and get 1 a week so that I can build a little bit of a backup of these videos. And that way, too, if something changes in the hobby, if something big information happens, I can do that one on the fly and have the space in my schedule to be able to do that and get it in there. So I'm trying to reduce the amount of short-term, just fly-by-night, quick off-the-shelf videos that I slip up in the video and I don't have time to go back and fix it because I'm doing it at 9:30 at night. I just don't have the time to go back and fix that. Oh, well, I screwed up the percentages in here, but they're technically right. The numbers are still the right order. It's just the percentages were actually inverted, which is not a huge, it is a huge deal, and it should be right, but I don't have that opportunity to do it. So I really want to spend that time making sure it's right, be able to go back, re-record something, fix something, and make updates and make them right. And that's basically, so you're going to be seeing maybe a 1 video a week for me for right now. I want to start branching out to 2 and then leave those spaces in there. Just so everybody knows. I'm just doing a little update here as we're coming towards the end. Son of a Merc, so like the Terra EX and the Stellar EX, maybe. Yeah, it could be. That's what he was saying up above. So Shiny Rayquaza was just putting it out there. It's in the game. From what I could tell online too, that's a new dynamic in the actual gameplay. But they haven't done it yet in the cards. I was just looking through my cards. I'm not seeing anything like that. They're all Terras, but it could be a hit or miss depending on what they do with it, I guess. Yeah. And that's what Shiny Rayquaza was just saying. It might be not in May's release set that we're getting information on for the Mystique one. It's going to be probably the one after that. We'll probably see that change just because I think it just came out in the game recently. Let me see, when are all these articles from? Yeah, I guess the end of January here, beginning of February, that came into the gameplay. So, yeah, that's what we got on that part of it. Let's see, Kanto Green. Do you think the Chilling Reign Blaziken alternate art could be the next card to go up due to the hard pull rate and Chilling Reign opening almost 27 booster boxes with no luck? It could be. I mean, I know that Blaziken's fairly hard to pull. I've pulled it myself, but that, once again, it's merely luck. Pull rates are pull rates, and I mean, a lot of times it's just a lot of luck for what you hit. Do I think it could go up in value? Yeah, I think if the Chilling Reign booster boxes start to go up too pretty hard, we're going to see that also kind of follow suit, and it's going to go up as well. No Chilling Reign opening 32 booster boxes with no Blaziken. Yeah, I heard it's really difficult to pull. I got lucky. I got mine out of a three-pack blister back when I was doing videos, actually openings of on the channel. So I pulled that one out of a 3-pack blister. So it was just absolute luck. Let's see. Black Rayquaza is in the new anime. Well, that's kind of cool. I gotta sit down and get caught up on a new anime. I'm gonna have to do it. Craig Northwoods, if you're looking for XY2 presents, Scarlet and Violet sealed, contact cardboard casket. Huh. Well, that's good to know. I will, I'll definitely check them out. I'll get a hold of them. Cool. No, I will get a hold of them then if that's the case. If you saw them in a collection last November, because I am still looking for some Sun and Moon stuff that I would like to recapture. Like, I'd like to get a couple more booster boxes of like Cosmic Eclipse and Unbroken Bonds. Personally, I like Unbroken Bonds myself, so it's a really nice set, and that's the first set I came back into the hobby with. It's the first battle deck I had. So, once again, so when I came back, it's a really fun set to me. I really do like that. The tag team of the Charizard Reshiram in there, a really nice tag team card myself. I really enjoy it. So, yeah, I might, I just copied and pasted that real quick. So, thank you for that information, Craig. I will look them up. Best place to get them on Instagram, or where's the best place to get a hold of them? So, but while Craig answers that, like I said, thank you everybody that's joining me tonight. Once again, this is going to be new schedule, 9 p.m. every Tuesday. We're going to continue to do lives every single week, unless I have an event or something. So I just want to thank everybody that's joined in tonight. Greatly appreciated. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you guys are leaving too. It helps out the channel quite a bit. And once again, you know, if you guys have any information you want to say, put it in the comments. I'm always wanting to maybe have some time to do some research. If you've got something you really, really, really want to know information on, make sure you put it in the comment section of this video. If you do so, I will take the time and I will look at those comments on these lives from now on. And that way you could actually sit there and I could have some time to really pull some data on something. I'm willing to go over data-driven things on these lives too. If you guys are really looking for something, you want something that you don't have time to dig up, or, you know, maybe you might think I know someplace that I could really dig into something, put it in the comments. I'd love to take the time to really dig into that and give some information to someone that's looking for something. So, once again, guys, thank you, everybody. Yes, thank you, iFOMO. It was a really fun chat. I always do like your guys' chats. You get some really good background and really good questions when it comes down to what's going on in the hobby for sure. So, thank you, everybody. Once again, I'm going to call our quits for tonight. Hopefully, you guys have had a good rest of the week. And then, like I said, Friday, I'll be releasing a video a little bit better done, a little bit more thought process, cleaned up video, a little bit more refined when it comes down to that. I want to spend more time on the editing aspect and really make some better, clean videos. This one is still me a little bit rough because I'm still trying to tweak things and make them a little bit better, but I'm going to continue to improve on the video quality. And then I want to start working ahead on videos where I have a backlog of videos, and then I'll go back to today, plus catch things that are happening live in the market and get in on them. So overall, guys, thank you everybody that's joined in. If you haven't been here, and once again, as you're leaving, make sure you hit that like. Other than that, we will see you next Tuesday live, and otherwise, check out the video on Friday, and I hope to see you on next Tuesday live at 9 p.m. Central Time. Otherwise, thank you guys. Hopefully, you guys had a good night and have a good rest of your week. If you're bored and you just want to sit down and chat with me, we actually do lives on TikTok. No obligation to buy. I'm not telling you to come buy anything, but if you do want to just come out, chat, and have some fun chatting in the live, just come on TikTok Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. and then I also am at 10 p.m. on Fridays. So if you guys just want to sit back, chat, and just talk Pokemon, then come on and join the chat. We have a lot of fun just discussing things. So other than that, thank you everybody, and we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.